still going to be given to Prismal because hands don't change, Austin.
That's right. That's the biggest thing, I think, when we talk about this. What are you going to get Prismal on? We're about to find out. Already zoning in on some of the bans that are going to come through here for us. Lucian, first one going to be taken off the table here for Resolve, followed by an interesting ban for the Xerath, which is something we did see from Showmaker, but other than that, has not been one of those big picks here. Maybe something being played here for the Resolve mid laner that just do not simply want to deal with it in game number 1 for us.
Well, the thing, too, with Xerath is that he's just quite good overall, but he's especially good into the run-of-the-mill control mage matchups. Your Syndras, your Victors, your Oriannas, because he outranges every single one of them. He is insanely safe, and this kind of tells me Golden Guardians Academy probably want to pick something along those lines, and because of, well, its popularity increase in MSI, the fact that teams are probably getting a better handle on the champion, they're just like, you know what? No.
Yeah, now we'll get some of those jungler bans that we touched on here. Do not want to deal with the Morgana. It can be very oppressive, farms extremely fast, and, well, provides a lot of utility for someone like your AD carry here with that Black Shield. Let's remove that. Gwen, also another quick ban that's going to follow on through here for us. So Resolve now rounding out all of their bans, and now we'll see what Golden Guardians are looking to take away as they've also removed the Senna.
I gotta imagine it's probably going to be the Rumble, even though in MSI it very much fell out of priority. From what we saw in terms of the amateur scene when it comes to the couple queues, it was usually something that saw a lot of priority, but it's going to end up being the Renekton instead. Golden Guardians Academy deciding it's strong, but they don't want to give away to Pyke Glory.
And now what is going to be the first pick? The priority, the Rumble, up on the table here for you. Priority on towards a couple of the AD carries as well, depending on what you actually do want to bring in. And that discussion, of course, happening for this squad. And, well, seeing exactly what it could come in with, looks like it will, in fact, be that Rumble. You touched on it, Beatdown, high priority, great pick, farms extremely well, and they're going to lock that in here very early.
Right, and Golden Guardians Academy knew this was going to happen. It's normally what does when you leave it up that long. They want to secure the Thresh for themselves, though, and already a really safe support in how much you can really just kind of support your AD carry, especially when you have someone like Prismal in the bottom lane. You can really enable them on these carry picks like the Varus that was also being hovered if we want to see the Jinx come through, and it's looking like the Varus is something they actually want to grab for themselves first.
Varus is always an interesting one to feel like. It's a champion that's never in the meta for too long, but when it's in the meta, it's really oppressive, difficult to deal with, and we've seen, the piercing arrows when we were watching over, some of those games. Arrow coming in towards the mix now that he's back in towards North America. He loves playing this, and this is something that is really able to take over games if you're looking to build poke composition. So now something like a Zoe, something like a Jace could end up coming in towards the mix for us to kind of equal to that. However, they are going to decide on towards that Thresh. So it looks like we do have our bot lane already here for the side of Golden Guardians Academy.
Yeah, so again, really safe, something that could really allow Prismal to just have a safe laning phase and then be able to pop off more when it comes to these team fights here. That, you can't fool me. I know they're not going to pick... I know Elise isn't going to get picked, but it would have been really spicy to see that one come through. Instead, Kallista's going to come through, which is interesting. You want a really strong bottom lane. I think they can hear me. They're just like messing. They just keep on hovering it here. The Aurelion Sol actually is possibility because APA, it's one of his most played champs.
That's true. I mean, it can be difficult to deal with this. Now, if he does pick it this early, you could still look at being able to prep a counter before getting in towards phase 2. So I think they might hold off on that for now. We are going to get now a set that does have the ability to flex around to a couple positions here for the side of Resolve.
Yeah, and the Udyr coming through is also a pretty standard answer into the Rumble. Farms just as quickly, can go for some of these early game skirmishes, and has a lot more ganking assistance in the fact that the bear stun is just self-serving. He can easily come into lane, make up plays no matter what lane. Rumble, on the other hand, does need a little bit more gank setup, but that is why you're seeing somebody like Set, for instance, who's going to be able to do that no matter what lane he's in.
Now in towards some of the phase 2 bans. What is going to be taken off of the table? Still, mid laners need to come in towards the mix. So that first one, Golden Guardians Academy, they're going to remove the Orianna, get that out of the mix. We know how strong she can be and how well she scales. And now on the opposite side, Resolve going to get rid of that Karma that has the ability to kind of flex in towards a couple of roles as well.
Yeah, that would be a really nice pick for Golden Guardians composition, so they just want to see fit to get rid of it here. I wouldn't be surprised if, we're going to see the support also banned out here. Nautilus.
We will.
Very classic counter into Thresh, and it would make for a really painful bottom lane for Prismal and Newbie, especially when you're playing into someone like Kalista. You want as safe a bottom lane as you can. Going out of lane even means Array might already run into some trouble here on the side of Resolve.
Resolve now narrowing down on their last band, coming in towards phase 2. Still have to take away maybe a couple of mid laners, and that is the play. So we talk about something like an Aurelion Sol potentially still in the mix for us, Beatdown. That is one of the hard counters. They have removed that, so that could still be on the table for us going in towards these picks.
And what matters now is what are we going to see on Golden Guardian Academy's side here.
That's right.
And of course, Niles being on this roster now, they could be saving counter pick for him instead, but I see the Volibear hover. Maybe they're just going to give him that one as well here, because Niles is, interestingly enough, a player who does play very well with resources.
Okay.
So it does seem like they do want to give him that counter pick with the Twisted Fate lock-in here, which is really helpful because Niles, when he's given resources, when he's given priority, he can really do a lot of work for his team in most situations.
I feel like this is Golden Guardians Academy saying, all right, if you want to pick your Aurelion Sol, go ahead and pick it. You want to attack the side lanes? I'm just going to Destiny on in there and make sure that I match that. So I do love the idea of a global now coming in towards the mix, which means that you want to pick something a little bit tankier, it feels like, in towards that top side. That Sion is, in fact, going to be locked in, and now we should figure out very, very soon on where exactly this set is actually going to end up here for us.
Yeah, most likely he's going to end up in the mid lane. I think we're going to see a support here for Resolve, just because set into Thresh is, it's not fun. I've played it, don't recommend it, and we have a Nico hover. We have the Nico lock in here.
Okay.
I'm actually, it could be either one, so I'm really curious to see how that one is going to play out. I think both play pretty well into Twisted Fate when it comes to the mid lane. I would lean a little bit more towards that, but either way, like, this is a really interesting pick here for Resolve on 5. I wonder how GGA will answer.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting pick because of the immobile carries that you have. I mean, you have the Thresh Lantern for sure to be able to get them out, but I mean, you're talking about a Twisted Fate, you're talking about a Varus. When their flashes are not up, they're very vulnerable, and something like a Pop Blossom that's able to flash on them and lock them down, and you even have like a Showstopper coming through, layering that with the Equalizer. Like, that is a lot of damage and really strong team fighting power that we're getting here out of Resolve, and I honestly love the pick, and it looks like it will be APA wielding this in towards the mid lane against the Twisted Fate. And you can absolutely bully this guy out if you're able to land a couple of those roots here, Beatdown. So this should be a very fun matchup to come in towards our game number 1 for us.
And I love that pick into the Twisted Fate, because what does Twisted Fate like to do? Come that level 6, as soon as the Destiny is available, he wants to try and shove, wants to try and roam and make plays onto the side lane, both in and out of the laning phase.
Sure.
What better way to prevent that than to make sure he is shoved under the tower the entire time? And if he makes these side lane plays, if he tries to respond to APA teleporting to another lane, well, then he risks incurring very great losses when it comes to gold and CS overall. So I think the early game is going to be very interesting for me for Golden Guardians Academy. Again, we already talked about it. Rosethorn is operating this Udyr. A lot of just self-serving gank setup with the stun. Could look to make plays into the mid lane, make APA's life just as difficult as possible.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like there could be a lot of attention going in towards a pick like this simply because of that fact that you just brought up. He's looking to try and get some priority on top of this Twisted Fate. Make sure he's not able to affect the map like we typically see. And it's also a pick that you just might not be, used to playing against either. And that's when I feel like I love, the tier 2 scene for these amateur players that are able to pull up some of these pocket picks that you maybe just have no information on, and they're ready to pull it up at any given time because they have a bit of prep and have some practice, and they can look to bring it out on towards the stage here and find some value. But you might see players like Newbie moving in towards this mid lane, trying to make sure that he is going to be freed up to make some of these plays and everything along those lines here for us, Beatdown. But definitely a spicy draft. We wanted to get an idea of what the meta was going to look like, and I feel like in game number 1 we certainly got some picks that we have not been used to in towards the past. So this is going to make for an excellent opener in towards the game here for as far as both of these squads going head to head and looking for, again, that big win to start off the season hot for us.
That's right. It's a big, really important thing for both of these teams. But of course, even though starting off the right foot is so nice at the very least, even if you do lose out on today, you are thinking to yourself, you know what? Okay, it's not doomed. It's not the end of the world. We could still qualify for the playoffs run. I know, especially for Golden Guardians Academy, we got to speak to Jonathan, their manager. What we got was how, and of course, this is implied with an Academy team being here in a Tier 2 tournament, but it is about practice for their team. You have Niles, who's coming back down. You have Newbie, who's doing the same. This team does need a little bit of work going into the Academy season just to make sure that everybody can gel, everyone can perform the best that they can, develop into proving grounds and beyond.
And the good news is that, You don't exactly have that problem on the other side here. For Resolve, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, these guys have actually been together for a good amount of time now, coming off of that last split. 4 out of the 5, you know, it's really just Array coming in for Gorka, who also was, you know, a pretty big piece of the puzzle for as far as a lot of the success that these guys did end up finding through that last season, but fell a little bit short in towards the actual proving ground run. They want to change that around. They want to make sure that they're able to come in towards this season and, you know, let everybody know that they're going to be one of those knockout squads that you do not sleep on. We even got a chance to actually beat down to talk towards Lucian, and we were, you know, heavily mentioning, you know, like how is the mindset of everyone, you know, what's the idea going in towards the split. They're like, listen, a lot of people actually just looked at us last year saying, or last split rather, saying like, listen, we're just that fun team to watch. And he was like, we don't want to be that fun team to watch, we want to be that strong team to watch. And I feel like that was, you know, a really big statement out of the coach, who has a lot of confidence in his players, who are looking to prove a point and make sure that everyone is not sleeping on them. They want to make themselves known that, listen, we want to get back up in towards that top tier level. We want to move back up in towards professional. And while being able to come together with a lot of that chemistry and that synergy that they have already had a lot of success with and have already been able to build up, is looking pretty good going in towards the season.
And another point he brought up during that very same talk we had with him was how, again, they want it known that Academy orgs, Academy teams, Academy scouts made a mistake for not looking at these players, for not looking at this coaching staff and thinking they want to pick them up. And what better way to do so than to form a team of your own and make that legendary run all the way towards Proving Grounds, beating out the teams that you very much wish to be a part of there.
It should be a great time overall. This is, again, our very first look in towards the tier 2 scene. Very minimal roster changes. I think that's got to be the biggest thing coming from the Call of Duty scene, where I get a roster change every single week that I got to keep up with. Here, it's a lot easier beatdown. These guys are typically sticking together, you know? They're really looking to build up with one another, and I feel like that alone is what I love to see for as far as a lot of players, just making sure that they are building up all of those important synergy factors. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 1, as we move in towards it, this is Resolve up against Golden Guardians Academy to see who is going to be able to strike first in the series.
We already highlighted how important this early game is going to be, especially for Golden Guardians composition here. We did talk about how we want Yunbi out of lane if you're Golden Guardians Academy here, and part of that is going to be on Rosethorn to be able to kind of facilitate that, help push out waves during really crucial moments so you can try and make these side lane plays. And you even mentioned, Austin, that we could see Newbie try to roam up to the mid lane also to try and help things out. But the problem with that is you have to be really careful with the roam timers you end up going for, because when you see in the bot lane like Kalista set, Austin, you're out for blood. You're looking to kill. And the second Prismal is left alone, well, they're going to be looking for him.
Yeah, this is, again, I think where a lot of the attention is really going to come down to is this bot lane. Like, this is a good look at how Array is going to be able to pair with Winter, who has been, you know, a very experienced support player as the years have went by, and has had plenty of experience with a lot of AD. So having all this prep through at the beginning of the season should be a good look at how this is going to kind of come down for us. We can see Array has actually opted in towards the cleanse, and always plan ahead here. We got also the TP on to be able to kind of match a lot of what Wenby's looking to do. Niles, though, he's looking to be a little annoying, isn't he? Just coming in to say hi. What's going on, guys? You looking to do the blue buff? Oh, all right, but they might be turning on towards him. Meanwhile, bot lane already doing some early trading, but that's actually Array taken low. Early flash forced out, and that is not what you like to see here for the newcomer on towards the squad.
We already have so much early action coming through here, and a lot of summoners blown in this first couple minutes of play here, Austin. Niles already has no flash on this Gnar, who early on can be somewhat of a vulnerable pick. However, spotting out that Fnatic is in the top side of the map starting things off and working his way down, he is probably going to be safe for at least the first couple of minutes. Expecting Fnatic is just going to path top to bottom there, but the bot lane is the most important thing. Both of these junglers are pathing towards that very lane, and the fact that neither AD carry has flash available is very crucial.
A lot of pressure, a lot of low health bars at the start of this game, which means that junglers might be looking to get involved early. You might be actually opting in towards an early back. I like this. This is a lot of respect in towards what APA has here with this Neeko. You land one of those roots and you are going to be chained up and possibly have to actually expend your flash. Meanwhile, we see Niles, who has 2 levels on PCL, as he has not been able to farm whatsoever in towards this game, and now will have to catch this stacked wave, as he's even making sure he's not being dove on this wave.
Yeah, then insane wave control there coming out from Niles so far, and is expected ranged into melee there. The other thing too is again, set into Thresh is not very fun for Winter's situation at the moment here, but he's just waiting for Fnatic to come through and make a play here. Fnatic's cleared 5 camps, and now he is looking to make the play, but Rosethorn is also in the area here, so he might be able to respond, especially because they did clear a ward there.
A lot of pressure at the moment. Winter gonna maybe go and help out. Fnatic able to bring home the Scuttle Crab. Rosethorn, though, he's walking in like he wants to make a play. Might have to expend the flash, but the bot lane is coming. That is the flash from Rosethorn. They'll try to turn their attention on towards Prismal, but it will in fact be the Lantern that will carry him out to safety.
All right, so far, not a whole lot of action in that little skirmish coming through here. The big thing now is just that will Rosethorn be able to get a Scuttle Crab here? You see APA and Fnatic just moving through the mid lane. APA still has priority, and now the two of them are just going to be walking up after a brief trade in the mid lane. Rosethorn's HP tells me it's probably not an option, but Niles is here with Mega.
Yeah, this entire priority is going to favor him, but Fnatic, he flashes in, finds the first blood. Niles looking to try and find a trade kill on towards Fnatic, who no longer actually has that flash, has expended it. Mid laners, very low themselves. A flash over the wall comes through for PCL, but not enough to save his jungler. So we will get a nice little 2-for-1 here in towards the river.
Super aggressive play coming out from Fnatic. Does end up going 1-for-1, but his top laner will also take Niles out in the process. Luckily for Niles, Wave seems to be in a good enough spot that he is just going to walk it back, still holds on to the teleport. But here is the big play coming out from Newbie to set off that first kill here in the bot lane. And just so far, Prismal and Newbie are running it. This actually happened in the background during this top lane this top side of the map skirmish.
Yeah, we take a look at this again, and you can see Fnatic just looking to try and get in there, find that kill, so he can kind of build up on towards elite. But we can't stop for that one. We got more action happening. Rosethorn not in the best of spots, struggling very early on with the Udyr. Will be taken down yet again.
And APA is just able to teleport, just help take that one home. Doesn't need to worry about that in lane, as he's just been having the run of the show here against Newbie in the mid lane. But things could change. Now Yunbi rather is about to hit level 6. We'll have the Destiny available, and that means a cross-map play is on the table here for the Golden Guardians Academy, especially because Niles is still holding on to his TP as well.
Oh, Yunbi. He has his flash. Might be okay. Will have to, of course, use it just to make sure Winter does not lock him in. So Yunbi now feeling the pressure of everyone collapsing as they're going to expend yet another summoner. There's a lot of flashes actually down on towards the map here, which is usually great for the junglers beatdown, as that is going to open up for a lot of opportunities, especially with Fnatic closing on a level 6. That equalizer might be able to start dropping down if CC ends up landing in any of these lanes.
And we're going to see Niles actually has the level 6. He is looking to try and solo PCL, but I don't think he's actually going to get him fully down. First Dragon is on the map, though. Nobody seems to be making their way towards it, but so far, we see Rosethorn is on that side of the map. APA, of course, is able to use that priority to start scoping things out, seeing if anybody is on the move from Golden Guardian's bottom side jungle, and placing a little bit of wards as well. But GGA's bot lane will be the first to move.
Goal lead just about even, just barely in favor of GGA, as we do have this dragon that's currently being set up. Rosethorn is going to come down here, maybe start to figure out what's happening. No sneaks, anything along that. Do not want to give over a free mountain dragon by any means, and stack up a bit more of the resistances. Meanwhile, bot lane, Prismal able to land a nice little piercing arrow, going to do some damage with it, and from that pink ward that was dropped here from Newbie, that is going to open up for this mountain dragon. But will it be secured? Fnatic is level 6, could look to move inside of the pit. Yunbi also here, but remember, no flash available. Death sentence going to land on towards one as it looks to be a smite fight overall. The Pop Blossom does not go off as Fnatic is exhausted. Can't land any of his damage, but here comes the unstoppable onslaught fighting over the dragon. It will be secured here from Niles. 3 versus 3 and towards the river, as it's going to be Niles forced out. Close towards the Mega, but can no longer continue. Winter flashes away from the piercing arrow as things look to have settled for now, and that will be Newbie getting Niles out of the pit.
Oh, and what a scrappy game we already have here. First game in the series. It looks like Resolve will not be able to sneak that dragon away. Even though Rosethorn was kept busy, Niles was able to secure it here. You see the Destiny show where everybody is, and crucially, APA will die before getting the Pop Blossom off. Excuse me. Otherwise, I think we have a bloodbath that favors Resolve in that situation here. But the Dragon Secure is a big thing there for Niles and Golden Guardians Academy, as they're going to be able to at least walk away with that objective, and the fact that they managed to keep Prismal alive.
Wow, that was a very chaotic fight, but the Dragon at the end goes over towards GGA, so they start it, and they will finish it. But you have to kind of look at what's happening now, and Fnatic is like, all right, we're going to make a move in towards the top side here. I'm going to be able to move in for this Rift Trail. They got priority from APA, and this is also Winter making his way up to make sure this does, in fact, come through. So an early Rift Trail looks to be secured, so they can look at coming away with some early turret plays.
And that's going to be a really big thing here for Resolve because they have Kalista and Array moved up to the top side. Wait, PCL's in trouble?
Oh, he actually survives. I mean, so much damage landed there. I did not think he was going to be taken down, but that got a lot closer than I was expecting.
Yeah, it really started to clinch there for a second, but now that this Rift Herald secured there for Resolve, they could just make the play top lane, like you said.
Yes.
Array already picked up a kill during that Dragon fight. He's going to be able to secure himself some extra turret gold plates as well here, and this is exactly what you want happening. Niles has to pay respects, even though Rosethorn is here. These plates are absolutely going to go over to Resolve.
Array is going to be able to get in range of them. That is perfect. Get this Kalista further ahead after grabbing that first kill down in towards the skirmish that we saw around the Dragon. So we find ourselves 9 minutes in towards the game. Still a 1,000 gold lead in favor of GGA. As they've been holding on towards that, UMB going to have his destiny also up very, very soon. And as we take a look at the total gold at the moment, it does appear to be Prismal, which is just about what anybody would expect when we're talking about this guy right here. But mid lane, we got a fight potentially breaking out. UMB does not have his flash up. He will be locked down. Chain CC. No. That doesn't look fun at all. But APA, he will find himself his first kill of the game.
So tragic. His flash is coming up right about now, and there it is. But you really don't expect the Sion to be ulting to the mid lane like that either. Usually you see that wave coming through. He's just going to ult the lane and try to catch it. But instead, really nice heads-up play from PCL and the rest of Resolve. Just further APA's... or try to further APA's advantage in the mid lane, even though, or rather that he is up in gold, which is something you want to keep going on here. And I think the most crucial thing is Array is also ahead of Prismal, but I think so that he can continue to have a great effect on these team fights coming up is that I think they need to continue making plays around him and try to get that gold lead even further.
One of the biggest factors that we're seeing is just really a lot of the macro that's taking place like pre 10 minutes. Like we can already see a lot of the lane swaps that have been coming in towards play, like Prismal moving in towards this mid lane, now looking to rotate down with his support as well as the Udyr here. Rosethorn might be able to move on towards the Kalista. Array looks like the information will be there, so will not be in threat of a dive as they will just simply back away and are not looking to try and force the play.
The moment, you have Prismal and Newbie moving up to the mid lane here, having some of these lane assignments swapped up already, just keeping it so that bot lanes don't have to really fight each other. You just have these 2v1 matchups so that Prismal can continue to just farm safely, pick up this gold, pick up this XP, but has to be careful because Resolve are waiting in the brushes, looking to try and make some plays here around what should be a spawning dragon very soon.
Prismal, all this poke, very valuable before moving in, as Newbie tries to throw out a death sentence, will not find its mark. But this vision control, looking beautiful at the moment for GGA. Makes it very difficult to make any moves. Array actually caught on the rotation. The Destiny is going to be used, but are they actually going to be able to find anything with it? Winter's the target, and UNB actually just has to flash out. Very little mana, unable to find the correct target, and that's going to be the ultimate as well as the flash, no longer available for the mid laner.
And that means they're going to get pressured out more than likely here on the side of GGA. You can see Resolve moving in now because they've gotten this pressure on them just to clear out vision, start working their way down towards that bottom side jungle, and they're going to have Array just clear out this mid wave and work their way down. That should be an easily secure dragon. Niles is going to the top lane, no TP in sight, so I think things are just going to calm down for the next couple of minutes here. Gold still very close, just within 1,000 here, still in favor of GGA. And yeah, it's going to be Dragon apiece for both teams. We're going to find out what soul it is, and it looks like it will be Cloud. So I know Rosethorn's probably going to be really excited about that.
Every Udyr always is, and it's just a matter of are you going to be able to stack them? Because this one being picked up is an important takeaway. Getting some extra damage now for as far as the Infernal. All the attention appears to be in and around the mid lane, but resets look to be taken on towards the map. We'll start to see some of these Mythics maybe even come in as Array's back will be stopped at the very last second. UNB says, listen, I've used my ultimate, I've used my flash. I can't do a whole lot on the map, but hey, I can stop some backs and make sure you don't get to base as soon as you want to be.
Well, that's nice. Messing with people's timings, forcing them to stay for an extra wave can cause problems as well. And again, you see the we have now GGA continuing to move Prismal and Newbie across the map. Now they have him back in top lane. Still a minute to be able to pick up some of these plates as well. And you can see Resolve's bot lane is a little late to that move here. So Prismal will get the shove and might be able to pick up some plate gold as well. Narrow this gap between him and Array at the moment here, as it is not very large.
Well, we see Fnatic, the first one to lock in his Mythic. He's going to go with the Leandres, and well, that is going to do quite a good amount of burn damage if you're able to land a great equalizer. And with a lot of the CC that we have available just on about every single champion, that is going to be some great setup here for the Rumble, pending they find a target. But still, just things slowing down after having all of the chaos that kind of ended up coming through here for us in the very first 10 minutes of the game. Both teams now looking to stabilize a little bit more, make sure that we are not fighting just randomly. We are, in fact, fighting over objectives, and there's nothing really to play for, at least for the time being. We're not going to have a dragon for about 3 minutes, so this is really just about fighting over vision control and making sure you're getting something done on the side lane, which is what Niles is trying to do. Little does he know, as he's being set up here for PCL, and actually going to be taken down to about half health. Nice trade from PCL here on towards Niles.
And Niles does have Mega and the ultimate ready to go, but still is going to have to be super careful here. The majority of the action, though, is actually on this top side of the map. Resolve are trying to take this top tier 1 tower, be able to shove that wave, as they have their eyes set on the second Rift Herald. And ideally, GGA just kind of let this one go. You're okay with it. Just continue out shoving waves, clearing out as much as you can, and just continuing to farm to your respective power spikes here. As they're really starting to come online. Prismal has that Prowler's Claw, so it's already starting to look very good when it comes to stats, and it looks like we got a hook.
Oh, Chain of Corruptions land.
Wow.
Winter gets decimated. We'll see a response play. The flash is forced out from Newbie, and we'll just see a drive-by from PCL. Unable to find anything on the back half of the fight, and that is a great pick here out of GGA.
And a great flash from Newbie to not get picked off. So that's a 1 for nothing. And it also allows Niles to continue to farm safely on the bottom side of the map. You can see it right there on the bottom left of your screen. He's going to be able to get that turret, continue shoving out these waves, and continue what's a sizable gold lead he has for himself here. He's working towards 1,800, is becoming very strong. Just reached that level 11. So at this point, every time he goes Mega, he will have that Gnar ultimate available to him too. So Golden Gardens Academy are looking a lot better when it comes to these 5v5s.
Just about 3,000 in total. That's going to put them in a very strong spot heading in towards this next dragon. That's going to be up in about a minute 45. The Rift Herald still has not been opted in for as far as it takes. They are going to hold on to that for now and maybe move up there for what could be a trade. Just going to give over a blue buff here. This one likely over towards Prismal, as it feels pretty good as the 80 carrier. You're like, yeah, I'll take a red buff a little later on. I'll take a blue buff right now. Get those piercing arrows out. I mean, you know, a lot of people try to tell us that when we're jungling beat down, but we don't always believe them. However, if it's Prismal, I'm absolutely willing to give this man a blue buff.
That's exactly it. Like, if it's Prismal, okay, fine, whatever. My random gold 4 ADC and solo queue, absolutely not. I'm smiting that 10 times out of 10. But in Prismal hands, makes a lot of sense here for Golden Guardians Academy, especially with this build. Like, it's going for the Poke Varus build, so you want as many piercing arrows out as you can, like you were saying there. And TF, it is mostly about the stun. Niles!
Yeah, he has found APA. The Pop Blossom will drop down, locks him up, roots him on top of the Equalizer.
Wait.
Remember, there's a massive shutdown. That Fnatic is going to move in. The Flame Spitter gets the job done, and well, really, APA just setting up the bait.
Oh, and that feels so bad if your Niles almost gets the solo queue, but of course Fnatic is there for the save to help out his mid laner and APA. Now APA can continue farming it up in the top lane, and of course will be able to secure Rift Herald number 2. However, that isn't so bad for GGA, because all that attention topside means you can see that they've been able to focus a lot of vision on the bottom side of that. Ray, though?
Oh, Ray in some trouble. Rosethorn flashes on top of him. The Destiny comes through just for good measure, and they'll find the kill. Winter forced out under his tower, but the TPs are coming through. APA, he already expended the ultimate, and the Equalizer is not up, but they're able to lock down Niles. Fnatic moves in with the Flame Spitter here with PCL, but the exhaust is going to stop the damage. Prismal for a double. Might just be a triple. PCL on the retreat, having to get himself out. Prismal for one more piercing arrow, does not find its mark, but the fight goes the way of GGA.
And wow, it was back and forth here. Using the Prowler's Claw to get close to Array was so crucial to force the showstopper from set. But of course, this is why Thresh is such a good pairing. Is able to get him out, allow UNB to use the Destiny to get in Rosethorn to go for this tower dive. And it was just winning from start to finish here. Even though you unfortunately lose Niles in this fashion, the fact that you have Prismal able to get himself A kill, and B, safe because of that Dark Passage from Newbee, means he's allowed to just keep it up, keep the piercing arrows, just keep the auto attacks going, and keep GGA in the fight.
Keeping them in the fight, keeping them in the lead, baby. Still hovering around 3K, but they collect the Dragon. Sitting pretty, looking good, and that's just the force of the ultimates not being available to fight back. Newbee's looking to set up a play.
Oh, they
He's
want
going
it.
to use the Shurelius. Array no longer having the summoners, able to dodge the death sentence, but Prismal moves in, will be able to lock things down. Instead, it's Rosethorn that will collect the kill.
Oh, and it's just beautiful. A little bit of a greedy play coming out there, but good punish from Golden Guardians Academy. They immediately see that, but Newbee says, absolutely not. Prismal, come here. Let's get him. And it's just going to be able to secure themselves the second Rift Herald. And although you won't get as much gold as you would pre-14, still, to be able to shove that mid wave out, because Array is still down and will have to walk back to join his team in the coming seconds, you can get this Rift Herald, drop it mid, and potentially even threaten that mid tier 2 tower as well. So everything going really well for Golden Guardians Academy so far. Up 3,000 gold, just controlling the map all over.
19 minutes in towards this one, Rift Herald will come down, cracking open the mid tower. That is going to open up both the blue and red quadrant here. A lot more vulnerable, being able to shove this wave all the way in. There will be no defense, but Winter's maybe going to look for a play over the wall with the Hex Flash. Can't find it. Niles also Meganar, as he has no problem face checking brushes. Moving into the Destiny is going to find Winter. Chain CC follows here, but it is just the support. Winter will not fall as of just yet, but finally Niles will take him down. Unstoppable onslaught in towards the Pop Blossom. Will be able to find the double, and now it's going to be resolved. Looking to turn things back around in their favor as they will get a 2-for-1.
Oh, and it looks so good for Golden Guardians Academy. The fact that Yunbi has been able to find these insane angles with the Destiny after having a pretty rough lane phase is great. But Resolve, PCL, keeps managing to, even in fights where it's lost, he finds these amazing angles to use that unstoppable onslaught. And you can see it. Winter is here, and just like that, he isn't as he gets erased. The problem is, watch PCL. He's coming in on this play. Can't get hooked because the ult is already coming through. Big stun, big decimating smash, and look at this Pop Blossom from APA. Threading the needle doesn't even begin to describe it, how he manages to lock down 3 and secure 2 kills.
Oh, baby. That is what you love to see right now if you're Resolve.
Sure is.
And coming away with a couple of kills and able to punish out here has been very well done when they're fighting inside of their territory. But now it's going to be the side of Resolve moving in towards GGA's territory. Winter has actually found a pick. The Blast Cone's going to set him on the wall. The Showstopper throws him right back, but Rosethorn wants to back up his mid laner. The Equalizer is good, but Yoinbi, he's able to get himself a lot of assistance from the Lantern. The shield is enough to keep him out, and he will be able to keep his life.
And really crucial for them to survive here. Baron being on the board means that is an option if that ends up being a better look for Resolve. But Golden Guardians do hold on, as now everybody's just going to be able to walk away here. If you look, speaking of that Baron, there's a little bit more vision in and around that river for Resolve, but largely it's been untouched by both of these teams here. It's mostly been the deep vision that Resolve have been playing for. As you can see the parts of the minimap that were highlighted in green, and you can see the red maps now that it's swapped back, is that there is a little bit of vision there for Resolve. They're trying to control that top side of the map so that they can try to get a look here. But more than anything else, they're trying to get a good team fight, Austin, because the fight happened previous to that one. That is what Resolve's composition is capable of. If you can continue to find looks like that, even if you are down, Resolve can absolutely come out on top in some of these exchanges.
Oh, I love what Niles is doing right now. Oh, he's not able to stop the back, but you could certainly see it. They even invested in the Destiny actually for this play, so they were really relying on Niles to stop that back and move in, make sure Fnatic was unable to help as he was just clearing his Krugs. But that is now an important cooldown, no longer available for GGA, but they could still look to force a play in towards the mid lane. 4 strong at the moment for Resolve, as lots of CC is landing, lots of poke is landing, and from afar, Prismal able to get some piercing arrows in, but the Pop Blossom is forced out. APA might be in some trouble, but the Equalizer does force away GGA, so they might just be on the back foot. They want to move back through, and Niles, he's way too strong. He's able to find the first one. The ultimate forced out from PCL will get him out, but another pick goes the way of Golden Guardians Academy, and now they can back up for their third Drake.
And right on time for the Dragon Spawn. Is that going to come through? Niles doesn't even need to use the ultimate and is going to be able to get the lockdown onto APA. The huge cleanse from Yunbi as well from the Unsealed Spellbook to be able to dodge the root and the Pop Blossom, and also use of the box there from Newbie to be able to make it so Resolve cannot walk through that choke. They can't actually put any damage onto the carries, and PCL is forced to use the ultimate to escape. It's going to be an easy Drake for GGA, and them just furthering their lead in this game as a whole here. As it's getting tougher and tougher for Array to be able to play here. We know how it works with Kalista. Really strong early game, but if you don't get a huge lead, what is she going to be able to do here? And I think we're at that point now as we're at 23 minutes. Array is only at his 2 items, and so far hasn't been able to have impact on these fights.
I love that you bring that up because we really do talk about 2-item power spike here for the Kalista. This is when you want to look to play around her, see if you can utilize this kit, because this is where she's typically very strong. And if she has the option to be able to kite around and find a lot of this damage, she might be able to pop off in towards the fights. But the CC is honestly incredible. Every single champion here offering some form of CC, making it difficult for a Kalista to dance around the fight and to actually be able to pop off like you would typically see. So yeah, your positioning has to be almost perfect if you're able to come out with a fight like this. In the meantime, Niall's going to start to set up a split push in towards the bot lane. There is no TP for PCL, and we once again see the Destiny use, just maybe scouting out on towards the map, figuring out if maybe a player was setting up for a dive, and this now means that Niall's knows he's free to start pushing in towards that bot side.
Oh, and it's just like you said, no teleport for PCL means Niles will be able to join a fight. So GGA can get a little more aggressive, setting up vision on the top side if they so choose to. But at the moment, I think things are in a bit of a lull. Resolve back away from the area around the Baron and are just going to focus on setting up some vision there. So far, you do see some wards still available, although now they are pinked out. APA is actually hidden nearby as well, looking to see if he can get the drop on somebody walking by, but I hope he's not still there, because that's actually not a great spot. Oh my god, he is.
All right, what can they get? Can they flash on? They will. Layering it here. The CC is in.
Niles.
APA trying to turn this one around. A lot of damage for him. Can he find a trade kill? Not sure, but we'll move down towards what is happening in the river, and they've been able to take away one. Winter trying to get himself out, but it's not looking great at the moment for Resolve. They will come out with yet another team fight that doesn't go their way, and now with all the members remaining, they might be looking for the Baron.
Oh, UNB is going to back for TP. Baron is absolutely in the cards here, and there's a hook.
Oh, PCL on the front, trying to tank up for the Kalista Array. Does he have this pop-off moment in him? Niall's about to mega. It's going to force everyone out, and Resolve, they are going to make the call to simply back down, but we'll take another look at this replay.
And APA sticking in that bush just a little too long. It's really easy for Yunbi to get the chain CC off. And the fact that he doesn't die from the Pop Blossom means it's a pretty doomer play. But if you look over to the right of the screen, you see Winter doing his damnness to keep his team in the fight. Does manage to solo Prismal, but loses his life in the process here. It wasn't enough for Resolve. And now Resolve have lost the Baron over to Golden Guardians Academy. This gold lead, Austin, continues to grow. We are borderlining 8,000 at the moment here. Prismal is half an item up on Array, and the fact is, it's really hard for Array to play this game because GGA basically have 2 ranges of attack. One, you have Varus' piercing arrows, basically 2 screens away of Array. And then you have in your face someone like Niles, Rosethorn, and even Newbie with these picks that are in melee range. And if Kallista's in that range, being a short range AD carry, she's done so.
Well, top lane, PCL
Speaking of Dunzo,
does not have his ultimate, and you said it, Beatdown. It's looking pretty Dunzo at the moment. The ultimate comes through just to make sure, and wow, the damage. Prismal, he is dealing it, dishing it out, and they will find a pick on towards the top laner.
Oh man, and at this point you could just see it, just playing with all the advantages that they have for themselves here at GGA. They just keep pushing the pace because at this point they can afford to. You're just getting Prismal now, who's just farming jungle camps away, is just going to continue to pull away in gold and XP compared to Array, who's just trying to farm these Baron empowered minions who are a mission in and of themselves. But the one bright side for Resolve is that Baron is not on the map, so they can focus all of their attention on the bottom side here. You can see there's already a lot of deep vision being set, and they are pushing it even further. But now that they've revealed themselves here, I mean, Niles can continue pushing top lane.
And that was actually a pretty clutch orb coming in just to make sure that you do not end up dying to a death brush by Yunbi. Can he get himself out of this one? Able to land the gold card, and well, the Destiny gets him out. So the chase here for Resolve will not pay off. Niles very close to his Meganar. Could look for an engage and set up the fight for the side of GGA, but it's just a fight over the mid lane at the moment for as far as the priority. With the Baron, they can shove this in without a problem, and now we are 10 seconds away from Soul Point, and PCL, he's going to pull the trigger and TP in.
And you said it, Austin. It's about the Soul Point here. They want this fight very, very badly, so they're going to get a look if they can get it. Niles, though, coming in at level 16 is so very strong. Here's the ult from PCL.
Here we go. PCL right in towards the mix of it, but the backline already been chunked out, and they have found the first pick on towards APA. Niles goes all in. This is looking fantastic for GGA as they're finding kills left, right, and center. PCL's in zombie mode, but he's got nothing left as he will be taken down. There is the ace, and it is in exchange for nothing beatdown, and this very well might be the march for the game.
Resolve try to make the play here in hopes that they can deny the Dragon Soul, but really, it wasn't really worth it there. They tried to make the play. GGA immediately tear them apart with the advantage they've gotten for yourself, and you're absolutely right, Austin. Baron buff in tow. Game 1 is over.
It was beautifully done. GGA having control over the entirety of the game, even padding the stats as you see that piercing arrow to half of the health here, and just trying to come out with a couple more. Newbie will die, but that's fine. He still comes out with just about a perfect KDA, and that is one hell of a game to come in with here for us, Beatdown. We wanted to see who was going to be able to step up towards the plate, and GGA, well, they did it beautifully, but we'll take a replay of that last fight as well to see exactly what did end up unfolding, because it felt like they just did so much damage and they were so far behind that they had nothing left to really kind of fight back with.
PCL is unfortunately probably needs a bigger ultimate than that, but he's just trying to keep people busy so that the damage dealers of Resolve can actually do anything. But look at Niles. Blows up APA before going Mega, lost an incremental amount of HP, and just chunks Array, who hops right into Rosethorn and the rest of the Golden Guardians Academy. And at this point, there isn't really a whole lot else to say. Winter doing his best in these fights, trying to reposition frontliners so it's easier for his team to play, but the gold deficit is just too high. There isn't anything that Resolve can do at that point in a 5v5 situation. You saw it from Array. He was chucking spears left, right, and center, but unfortunately the damage just was not there.
Yeah, that was actually pretty wild. Even at the end there, the equalizer came down from Fnatic on towards Prismal, and he actually used the Prowess Claw to get himself out and close to the range, so he was no longer taking burn damage. We've had a lot of controversy around whether or not this is, you know, the item to pick up, but there has been a lot of cases where it's worked out fantastic. It does so much damage. Beatdown, we saw it at the end. Piercing arrows doing half the health there of Set. I mean, that is never a great time to deal with, as it's 2 screens away, as you mentioned there, in towards the game. But ladies and gentlemen, that was just game number 1 for us. This is the best of 3. There's still a chance to be able to fight back here for Resolve, but we're going to throw things to a short commercial break. Don't go too far. We come back. Game 2. It's coming up next.
dance beneath the dirt. Or do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth, or do you know yet? When I die, prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it.
Welcome back to All Chat. My name's still TJ, still alongside Dylan and Rebel. And Dylan, I was having a great time watching that game. Below, all I was hearing from you were like screams of pain.
Yeah, honestly, it was not the cleanest game by either team, right? We saw it cleaned up at the end by Golden Guardians, but in the beginning, by 20 minutes, there were 20 kills.
It was just pure team fighting, though. We were having a great time.
Oh, it's so much fun to watch. It's just hard as the analyst, because what am I analyzing, you know?
No, I really like this thread because we can go from here to our lightning round check-in. Before the game, I asked both these analysts to make a short little prediction about the game, and we're going to check in and award them some points. Dylan, you said, and I'm checking my notes here,
Oh, gosh.
that Niles will have a CS lead in lane at 12 minutes
Yes, I
and
did.
take the first turret.
Oh,
Now, would this maybe be why you were thinking that the game was chaos and unpredictable?
you know, that may have slightly influenced my opinion, just a little bit. I will say that Niles did have that CS lead. He did have that gold lead. We won't talk about the turret. He killed the bottom lane turret. It wasn't the first turret of the game, but it was a top gap by the end of the game.
Yeah, Niles actually did pop off towards the end of the game, so I'll give you 1 point for getting the CS right. But unfortunately, Rebel did correctly challenge that, so the 10 points in the pool will all go to Rebel, giving him a total of 15 extra... he has 15 points now, so he's got 25. We'll be able to do that live in the future. For now, I'm just going to do math in my head. And poor Dylan, you're going to be happy with this next part because Rebel said that Fnatic would have the highest kill participation in the game, and he wagered 6 points on it, and he was wrong.
Woo!
So, no points gained, none lost, though, because Dylan didn't challenge you on it. Let's go to our next part of All Chat, though. We said, as we were looking through that game, that we had a couple things we wanted to tweak. Maybe a pit stop in between games. So we're going to pull up alongside our mechanics here and talk about what went wrong during that game for Resolve and maybe what could change. Let's start with you, Rebel. You had a real focus on Prismal.
Yeah, Prismal seemed to be one of the biggest driving factors on the side of Golden Guardians. It felt like a good amount of the damage, sitting behind a very high amount of CC was there. And when he was able to sit in fights and just wait for arrow timer, and then wait for arrow timer, and then wait for arrow timer, it was just sledgehammering away at the health bars on the side of Resolve, which was really difficult. And Prismal, we already know, super good ADC. You can't leave him untouched in the backline. So for Resolve in this game, either A, put pressure on him in the early game so that that gold is kind of, taken down at the knee, something like that in the earlier stages, or pick something that you can dive with to put pressure so he can't step up and just, lob arrow after arrow on Varus. Something along those lines would really help take down the team fighting pressure Prismal put on in this game.
It's really fun for me, someone who's been watching the Academy scene for a while, to see Prismal be enabled like that, though. This is the kind of player that benefits so much from getting those resources, so I think you're right. He needs to be shut down if they want to change the result. Dylan, you had a different tweak, though.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Resolve, they kept the core of Barrage. They even have the same coach. I don't know why their style has shifted so much. Maybe APA thought that Nico was a good pick that game, but I think APA needs to go back to these roaming style mid laners that are going to help the team. right? When you think of Barrage last season, you think of the Twisted Fate mid, you think of Galio mid, you think of other champions. Talia mid is a bit of a pocket pick, A-Soul as well. These champions that can roam to the side lane and really enable PCL, at the time Gorica, but now Array, who is a fantastic AD carry in his own right. And I think APA just needs to get unlocked on the map, right? Whether that's Fnatic coming and giving him vision and giving him priority so that he can move, or just something, because APA was just stuck in mid lane and it was Yunbi actually carrying the map for Golden Guardians.
Can we maybe dig into that a little bit, Rebel? Because APA's roaming style, we of course know him, as you were talking about, from that Talia, but also the A-Soul. Can we expect to see that come back? Do you think maybe it was just a result of the matchup? You were talking a bit about maybe playing into the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, it was interesting because, again, there's a couple of options to either play into Twisted Fate or also just deny that potentially in this upcoming game. And APA's impact was severely cut off. It felt like Fnatic in the earlier stages, when there was a bunch of kind of forced interaction in rivers and such, was doing pretty well. But there was never this like ganking potential where they were able to find 3-4 members on one side of the map and find a really good skirmish. So either artificially generate that with like movement out of mid lane with things like we've seen before, or just shut down the opposing mid laner. There was a timer somewhere in there where I think Flash was burnt by Winter coming up from bot lane. Something like that would be really helpful as well for making sure Twisted Fate can't just run the map. And during that time period was one of the best moments for Resolve. So playing into mid lane in a similar fashion of burning those resources could be helpful too.
I really like this because we can bundle both of your little tweaks together. If APA is allowed to roam a little bit more, it will limit Prismal's effectiveness in lane, as there's a bit more pressure on him during the early game. Let's step out then, and I wanted to go to you, Rebel, and talk a little bit about the other games going on, because of course this is the first day of Challengers Uprising Season 3, and we unfortunately cannot broadcast all the games simultaneously. So, in lieu of Academy Rush returning, could you give us a brief update on what's going on in the rest of the bracket?
Sure. A couple of games out of Group A. First off, AoE and TSM both beat their opponents in EGP and Revival kind of respectively, which is, I wouldn't say they're surprising results, but definitely those are games that are a little bit closer in our expectations. We also saw Cloud9. They came out, beat Wildcard Black, which is, I think that's a good win for them, at least to start off their series. And one of the biggest ones, one of the closer games we had, I was keeping an eye on Supernova up against Radiance. Gold was relatively even. Dragons were even about 25 minutes in the game. And while Supernova did come away with a win, this was a definitive series that everybody on our analyst desks and everybody on our broadcast team had called 2-0, 100% Supernova. So for Radiance, they caused some noise with winning a game too. Even taking that series could be huge. It starts spiking up. I know who I've got on my eye on if Radiance starts taking games for our power rankings moving a little bit later on.
Yeah, and it feels like Radiance is a team that, we all, as you said, we all put pretty much on the bottom of our tier list. And that's a mix of because of who's on the roster and just them being new to the scene as well. And to take a game off Supernova, who's a team that has been playing a lot of these inter-season tournaments, some of these online tournaments, some of these for fun tournaments, others like for money and just for, a little bit of extra practice. Supernova is a team that's been putting in more work than other amateur teams. So it's really exciting for the Radiance players and the staff over there to actually have a competitive series. And I hope that goes to 3 games.
Well, we'll have to check in with that as the night goes on. We also hope this series that we're watching right now goes to 3 games. You guys had some very distinct predictions to do with APA, Dylan. You want to see APA be able to get a little bit more roaming across the map. And hopefully, Rebel, you thought that would maybe enable a little more pressure down in the bot lane, shut down Prismal over on GGA. Those are what the mechanics in our pit stop said. And we now get to head towards that game number 2 in this series. We're going to go to a lightning fast break. When we return, it's time for game 2 of our first series in Cup Season 3.
is so very strong. Here's the ult for PCL.
Here we go, PCL right in towards the mix of it, but the backline already been chunked out, and they have found the first pick on towards APA. Niles goes all in. This is looking fantastic for GGA as they're finding kills left, right, and center. PCL's in zombie mode, but he's got nothing left as he will be taken down. There is the ace, and it is in exchange for nothing beatdown, and this very well might be the march for the game. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, as we are back. We saw the replay there ending at Forest Beatdown. It looked like an absolute banger that came in there, and in the end, I don't think exactly what we expected, because it felt like this was really one of the big things for this Resolve squad was their team fighting, especially through last season on Barrage, right? When they did have Gorka in towards that lineup, but it did not come in together for them this game, and now they have the option to kind of go in with a little bit of a different idea for maybe what they want to draft.
That's going to be the most important thing, I think, because realistically, the early game for Resolve was quite good. And the fact that it was very skirmish heavy earlier on, we did feel like there were some advantages going their way. But as time went on, if we talk about just the AD carry matchup here, Kallista's rather short range. Yes, aggressive, especially when paired with Sett, is able to get a lot of work done in the bottom lane. But Prismal is just able to build lethality, get that Prowler's Claw going, and is able to just poke you from outside of your range. So it's really hard, and we saw it in the laning phase for Prismal, or rather not Prismal, but for Array to be able to get work done in that bottom lane. Get that lead someone like Kalista really needs. And it gets to the point where your team is so far behind, there is nothing Array can do realistically. So maybe going into the next game, we see a little bit of a different draft when it comes to AD carry picks there for Array in the bottom lane.
And we have to come back to one of the points that we made coming in towards this, because one of the big narratives was, how is Niles going to do now that he's coming back in towards this Academy lineup? And it feels like he just absolutely took over. You know, as we got later and later in towards that game Forest Beatdown, there was a lot of moments where he was just finding so much pressure on towards the sideline. He was drawing attention down in towards him, and he had perfect timing around the Mega Gnars that were taking place in towards the fighting, which is just such a crucial piece of the puzzle when you're talking about Narn towards the composition. So that was beautiful to see. We'll see what he gets on in towards this game here, but so far a lot of enchanters taken off the board for the side of Golden Guardians Academy. In response, Resolve will really start to take away mid laners as they ban out the TF and Orianna.
And looks like the Varus is going to be taken away here. Really common first pick there on the red side. They just don't want to deal. They don't want to deal with what they dished out in game one, pretty much. And I think after what Prismal was doing, I think that's absolutely a wise choice there. And first priority pick, what is it going to be from Golden Guardians Academy? Whoa, it's going to be the Gangplank there for Niles.
Okay, that's a first pick Gangplank. I think we would usually have an idea of a lot of other first pick champions that would typically come in for us here, but they will lock that in. We are also hearing that Annie ban was actually a Gwen ban, so we'll remind you of that, as there will be no Gwen in towards this game, but we do in fact have ourselves a Renekton, and it's going to be a Lilia for us Beatdown.
It's going to be an interesting one. Renekton Lilia, similar to Renekton Italy, can be really nice for setting up some of these dives up in the top lane. So immediately Resolve are like, okay, you want to first pick Gangplank? Then we're going to cause some problems for you in the top side of the map. And there it is. Right away, they actually will get that very powerful mid-jungle duo in Lilia and Lucian as well.
That's a deadly combination. Of course, on the other side, we got the Udyr and the Victor. So a little bit more scaling here from Yunbi going in towards this game number 2 before he is going to be fully online for the Victor. But now we'll take a look at the bans here in towards phase 2. Again, quite quickly kind of coming in towards the mix here for us. The Rumble and the Morgana. Jungle pinches, of course. And we'll get another jungle pinch on towards the Olaf and then the Xerath to kind of round things out.
Xerath again. Will smash control mages, not something Yunbi wants to see. And now the question is just going to be, what is left here for Resolve? What are they saving the counter pick for here? And it's looking like, wow, they're going to last pick support.
All right, a little bit interesting. The Aphelios coming in towards the mix, so they got a double AD carry composition. I mean, that might just be the play. We actually touched on the Thresh. We said, how good is Newbie with this pick? This was something he also played a lot of when he was, in the LCS with that Golden Guardians lineup. So overall, trying to maybe bring that in towards the mix, but it will be a Senna. This was banned away in game number 1, but they're going to bring that on in. Oh. There's 2 Aphelios, baby. Little did they know it's Blind Pig. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be an option. We'll find out what that last pick will actually be there for the Golden Guardians Academy. I was expecting the Tahm Kench. Potentially, maybe they grab the Thresh for themselves to deny that. But of course, Aphelios Tahm Kench is also really safe lane for Array to be able to farm up, and this is a little bit better than Kalista when it comes to mid to late game scaling. It's going to become quite the nightmare if we can see little bits of a lead come through there for Resolve's bottom lane.
Yeah, that's going to be the question overall. And this is a really big game number 2, because I think the key takeaway from what GGA did in towards the game number 1 is that they held on towards a goal lead just about the entire time. Even when there was plays that were looking like they weren't going the best and they had actually gotten caught out maybe on a couple of occasions, they were still always holding on towards that goal lead there for us beatdown. And that is, you know, something that you kind of just have to bring up, because they were doing a good job of controlling the objectives. They ended up getting a soul as well, or at least had the option to, I guess, in the end. Didn't actually need to move in for it because they won the team fight and ended it through Baron. So the objective control was great. The goal lead was always in their favor, and it really did feel like they were always in control of the game, especially when playing around Prismal, which was, you know, using the piercing arrows to their advantage, poking out and making sure that they always had a health bar advantage when the fights did break out here. So there is a lot that does need to be shifted for the side of Resolve, and now their backs are kind of up against the wall for this very first series, as they need to strike in towards this game 2 to get us to a game 3.
And I think they have given themselves kind of the right pieces to be able to do that in the early parts of the game. We think Lucian, we think Renekton. These are lane bullies. These are champions who generally do run their respective lanes through the earlier parts of the game. And a lot of potential setup, especially top lane, again, like we mentioned, for the Lilia to be able to make plays, being able to not only facilitate PCL's early game, but also kind of kneecap Niles in the process, because the GP into the late game, well, we all know what that is going to look like when you start landing those 2-3 barrel combos. So that's a double win for Resolve, if you ask me. So this early game is going to be a big deciding factor, and also we will find out that it's Newbie piloting the Tahm Kench there paired with the Senna, and it's going to be Winter playing Nautilus.
Oh, it's a frustrating lane, to say the least, for as far as what will take place. I mean, for maybe both, I guess, but I'm saying at least for Array and Winter for sure. I mean, when you're talking about the Senna and the Tahm Kench, it can be really difficult just to really punish them. I mean, we've just seen it so many times, right? When you're just eating them up, just making sure that Prismal is going to be safe and dodge all the CC, and then on the top of it, the Tahm Kench is also doing a ridiculous amount of damage when he runs you down here. So very excited to see how this bot lane will pan on out. We do see some early pings going down for what could have maybe been an early hook here for the side of Resolve, but Winter not going to really look for anything, so everyone's just going to hold on towards their 5 point, just kind of hang out and make sure no early invading is taking place.
Not 100% Array's character model is in the way, but I believe Prismal was able to get a ward, or perhaps just baiting. We are seeing the ping come through towards that bottom brush, so maybe there's play that they're going to be going for as Array and Winter walk down to their lane. So it might be very pathing dependent. Actually, no, they're gonna wait until that bottom brush.
Okay.
Oh, that's not going to be fun.
It will not be. Could be some early chunk out damage. Either way, top lane have to kind of put a lot of emphasis on Niles first picking the gangplank. This is saying,
yeah,
I don't care what you pick into me, I'm going to gap you, PCL. Like, that is absolutely what that screams to me. So this is also going to be a good look at how Niles is going to be able to kind of take over, because he did an excellent job on the Gnar, really had a lot of pressure on PCL, did not really give him too many opportunities to find any real value in towards the game. And well, now he's looking to maybe do the exact same thing on the gangplank, as actually APA finds a very nice early trade here on towards Yoinbi.
And to the top lane point as well, we did talk about it briefly before going into game 1. Golden Guardians Academy usually, before Niles came down to this roster, played through Prismal. It was usually strong side bot, but now Niles does open up these options for them to play compositions like this. Now you can have Prismal and Newbie on the Senna Tahm Kench, extremely safe bottom lane, just hang out and farm, while Niles gets some of these resources as well. That is when he tends to flourish the most, when he gets the attention, when he gets jungle attention.
Early bot lane pressure, as we would assume. It's going to take a while for Array to get towards a point where he's actually going to be able to kind of dish out the same amount of damage, especially with all the sustain that Prismal will have. So simply going to be a farm game, but do have to kind of add in towards some additional protection, make sure no dives or anything like that do in fact take place. There is an Udyr, you have to keep that in mind. And as we look at the Udyr, Rosethorn already farming, as we see this champion do here 15 seconds early before the Scuttle Crab, and that means that there is an opening on towards APA in towards the mid lane. Rosethorn going to be able to land the bear slap, just going to deal a good amount of damage. Is there enough to finish off the kill? There is. Rosethorn will collect first blood.
Oh, the dash must have been on cooldown. Really nice play from Rosethorn, who did skip the Krugs rather, so was able to make it into that mid lane for the play sooner, and it did end up working out. Because APA has TP'd though, there could be a chance for a skirmish to come through as well. even though Top Crab was secured, I think APA is just going to want to go back to lane. Look at this bot lane.
Yeah.
You got Prismal and Newbie just continuously pressuring Array and Winter. Oh, there's a hook, though.
There is. That was just great positioning from Newbie. Walks right in front of Prismal, makes sure that he is not getting hooked up, and this is just the difficulty of this matchup, just getting poked and not really being able to farm too easily. You're seeing it at the moment, just 12 CS right now for Array, as this wave is going to be bouncing back to the side of GGA, which means that the Udyr might have an opening, but there's a big hook. They're able to land it. Prismal is going to lose a little bit of that health here, as there is still some fight, and we even see the Lilia walking in here for us, as Fnatic is expecting some kind of a gank.
And the crucial thing is Devour is really long cooldown early, so now that that is on cooldown, the hook is going to come through.
Junglers are in. It is a full-on 3v3, but Winter is caught in the front. No summoners available. That is a kill picked up, and it will go over towards Newbie.
And it's the worst part, too, is that, unfortunately, Rosethorn was able to participate sooner than Fnatic, who was walking from the tower. That was a really good read from Rosethorn. You might have seen the ping on the minimap as well, as Golden Guardians Academy have been doing a really good job this series of keeping an eye on Fnatic, recognizing where he's going to be pathing towards, and trying to respond to, and potentially turn those plays.
Well, GGA, I mean, already look, like 1.5k in their favor. Like, this is actually very similar to what happened in the game number 1, where they just had a very early goal lead. It's off the back end of the CSing. Of course, the first 2 kills have went over in that first blood gold. Also, you know, being 400 is going to add towards it, but it just really feels like they are just in control in the early stages of the game. We see excellent positioning here out of Yoinb, knowing that something a little bit fishy is going on. I know my wave is shoving in, and well, at the moment, Winter is also missing on towards the map. So he pays that respect, will be able to keep his life. Does mean an early lead at least is actually over towards APA, despite being first blooded in this matchup, but not actually going to be able to maybe help Fnatic too much because of the priority. Dives in. This could be Rosethorn looking for the play, but instead it's a flash of the wall. Fnatic looking to try and land something on towards Yoinb. That will be the dredge line from Winter. It will find it, and APA collects the kill.
Oh, and that's so nice. And the earlier roam from Winter means there's so much vision control on the bot side of the map in favor of Resolve. That does mean we could make a play for the Dragon, but both junglers being up means Fnatic might run into a bit of a problem, because look at where Rosethorn is.
Oh, they're going to make some TP plays right in towards the mid lane. APA comes over the wall.
He doesn't know.
He has no idea the AD carry is here. Probably asking right now, why is the AD carry here? Either way, Prismal says hello and will be able to find his first kill of the game.
Oh, well, unfortunately, Senna's in support, but I guess we're not done.
All right, Newbie in a little bit of trouble. Does have his flash, and still has a pretty meaty shield on him. And he doesn't even need to use it. That is a Tom Kench, baby. I'll waddle myself out. I'm good.
That makes me sick. This is unreal. Fnatic does have level 6, though.
Okay.
We are going to see the Lullaby come through. There's a play.
Lullaby. It is in. The CC lands here from PCL.
Beautiful.
Fnatic claims the kill. Niles, does he have the outplay in him? Goes towards the Q. Gets the heal up.
He wants more.
Niles flexing his muscles on the gangplank as PCL is not out of it just yet. Needs to try and walk away. And it looks like a chase will not follow as Niles goes back to farming.
It ends up being a 1v1, so crucial for GGA to keep their lead going for them here, and still no attempt has been made on the Dragon. It's been about early playmaking, and for Resolve, that makes a lot of sense. You have, again, early game strength in picks like the Lucian, in picks like the Renekton, so it's good to see Resolve are making these plays for them. They just aren't working out maybe the way that they want to. There's a reason Niles Gangplank is feared, and that's why.
That is why, and getting a kill on it is going to be absolutely fantastic. And now we'll take another look at actually what started off and what occurred here as PCL looks to run him down.
Fnatic, you can see him come in here as Rosethorn gets a little too aggressive. Probably wasn't expecting the level 6, which means even though PCL has to flash, it is a really easy setup for him to get that kill. Problem is, turning on to Niles a little harder than they bargained for, as he will end up securing another kill there for himself. And now PCL just has to run for the hills.
Wow, just a sliver of HP got that done. I mean, all right, I'm seeing it, Niles. I see why you first picked this champion. I'm never going to say anything about it ever again, Beatdown. That is his champion. You might do it? All right, that's fair.
I still might do it.
It's working out pretty well. Nice little outplay there for him to trade one back over. And now Rosethorn looks to try and move on towards this Rift Herald. It is about 3k HP, and you can even see the vision come over the wall there, but Fnatic, understanding he does not have the priority to go for this, is just simply going to have to concede it. And that's going to be a nice early Rift Herald picked up now for Rosethorn to kind of move in towards any of the lanes here and chip away at some of the plates.
And it's a really nice amount of gold you can get for your laners. Could be mid, could be top. Rosethorn, though, just walking through mid, potentially for some dragon setup as his bot lane gets to move first. Is just going to hold on to the Herald for now and might just elect to farm his bot side of the map. Big thing worth noting, there is a potential timer for Yunbi, but it's looking like he just wants to set up a little vision.
All right, just going to back away at the moment. There could be a lot of priority that ends up breaking out in and around this dragon. It is an Infernal. We're 9 minutes in towards the game, so it's been up for quite a bit. APA, maybe baiting for this play. Does have his flash. Fnatic, though, is going to say hello. Tries to throw out the C, but will not be able to land it here. So no ulti will follow up, and no CC will land. Now towards the bot lane, Array and Winter. They are going to be pushed off of their tower. As soon as they know where the Lilia is, they are now going to have to concede it. But in the top lane, Niles, he's got flash. Can he outplay this? PCL's actually pretty low. Still having his orange available. Will be able to find himself one, maybe two. Niles finds the 1 versus 3 outplay and collects the double kill.
Oh, it's all falling apart for Resolve here. As soon as the cannon barrage goes to clear that wave, it's just a doomed play from that point on, and you don't even get Niles in the process. And on the other side of the map, Austin, Golden Guardians Academy are still winning out here. They get the dragon, they get the first turret of the game for Prismal and Newbie, and even though Shelly doesn't get a second charge, this lead is growing exponentially.
That is unbelievable beatdown. Oh my lord. Just the fact that this is just panning out the way that it is. The first big GP, a 3-man dive, collects 2, doesn't even get traded, uses the flash for it. But yeah, let's take another look at this one as they try to set it up.
Yeah, this wave is not nearly big enough for you to call it, to continue to call for it once the cannon barrage is coming out here. Look how quickly that wave is gone, and that is an easy double kill secured here. This Gangplank is now 3-0. He has the plated steel caps, he has the sheen. PCL, well, he doesn't get to have any fun anymore, Austin.
No,
It's
he
over.
does not. And after you make a play like that, it's really hard to say, all right, let's go try to do that again, guys, because it just went so horribly wrong. And on top of that, I mean, you used a lot to do it, but Yoinbi does actually dodge out on towards the dredge line. Depth charge is there, but you can't follow it up under tower. So Fnatic now just trying to run away from Prismal, who is setting up the play. Here comes the Abyssal Voyage, bringing in Rosethorn. He flashes on towards the Nautilus, but in towards the back, they will find APA. Will there be more that follows? There is no longer a tower here. Rosethorn might not be able to get anyone else, but another successful play here for GGA.
And the only saving grace, and I mean the only, is the fact that Array is able to free farm out in the mid lane, potentially getting some of plates in his pocket here, but he's going to need so much more than that if he's going to be able to actually carry it out, and he can't even push in this wave anymore. He's actually in a bit of trouble.
Oh, he is. Under tower, but yeah, there's a Tom Kench, baby. A-okay. Fnatic might be looking to make a play. There is the flash. The lullaby is going to land on towards 2 players. The bot lane in some trouble as Tom Kench is going to be taken low, but Newbie's going to be okay. Array turning in and around on towards him, but Niles, that shutdown looking pretty juicy as the blast cone doesn't take it. Fnatic, will he be able to move in for the kill? Niles, no way you make it out. The heal from the Senna is going to keep him alive. Niles is out of the fight, but it's still not done. A double kill goes over towards Prismal. Might just be a third. The shutdown is there. They finally collect the kill, but APA, can he get away? He cannot. A double kill comes through, and the bot lane will be able to find all 5 as Yoinbi split pushes on the side lane.
Oh, and look at from the start of this clip. Victor is just pushing it out in the bottom lane. No need to come through into this fight, despite a double sleep coming through. The damage is just too much from Prismal, and Array isn't strong enough to carry these fights yet. They want to keep it going on the side of Resolve, and you see it where Niles lives with an unreasonable amount of HP. That's got to be single digits here. And even though they get this trade, realistically, this is just so unfortunate for Resolve, who go for... You get 3 kills, and they get aced.
Wow. Prismal and Newbie. They might have formed very recently, but they are just getting it done. You can see it here again. The roots land, the double kill comes through. Prismal's got the range. Winter has no mana left in that pool, and they come away with all of them. Look at that bot lane right now. Beat down 4-0-6, 4-0-1. They are taking over, and they have just accelerated so much in towards this game number 2.
I think accelerated is an understatement at this point. So many plates have gone down. So many kills have gone the way of GGA. They're up 6, actually almost 7,000 gold in their favor. And at this point, they're just starting running around the map and make plays here. PCL, that was 1 Q, by the way. Lost a nice chunk of his health as he's just forced to walk away from his tower.
Prismal just gets to play like this too. Like
That's
this
not
is
fair,
the
man.
in a lot of ways it's not, because you're the support. How would you set up and engage on this when you just simply eat the player that gets hooked and then he just ends up, you know, attacking you from just a ridiculous amount of range? It becomes pretty difficult to get anything done. But I mean, we do take a look at some of the gold leads. Look at this. I mean, between the supports, 3,300 differential right now in favor of Newbie, 2,000 in favor of Prismal. Top lane 1,600. Like it just goes on and on and on. Luckily, APA, the only one with a slight lead, but is not far enough ahead really to kind of carry out on towards these games unless you get just an insane engage. But in towards the mid lane, it will be a 3-stack for GGA as they're looking to try and take down this tier 1 tower.
The reset is coming through from Yunbi. Teleport is available if Resolve look to try and make a desperate play to protect it, but it's looking like no such play is going to be made. Maybe off of the reset, though, as Fnatic is walking through.
Oh, Winter gonna try and
Devour's
walk
down.
up, trying to predict that, but Winter has
Oh
just been
my
deleted
God.
by the Dawning Shadow,
damage.
followed by a second. Prismal, how are you alive? It might not be for too long, as Nile tries to back up his AD carry, but it will not happen. The shutdown is there. PCL taken very low, will be collected from Newbie. Now on towards
Oh,
APA, who has no
no.
mana, will be taken down in 15 minutes into game number 2. GGA will get the ace.
Oh, and they're going to get more than that, Austin. They're going to get the second dragon of the game. They could very well get this mid tier 2 turret as well. It's all just falling apart for Resolve, who just can't find any angles into some of these fights. Anytime an engagement could start their way, you'll see Newbie just devour Prismal and keep him nice and safe. And at this point, it just gets so much harder for Resolve to play. Prismal almost 2 levels ahead in XP compared to Array. Newbie is 3 levels ahead of Winter. How did you kill this Tom Kench?
I don't know. I don't think they know either, Beatdown, because it is just looking tough. Almost 10,000 now for as far as that goal lead. More, I guess, along the lines of 9, but closing in on it nonetheless. 16 minutes in, still lots of towers to be able to take as they've collected 4. But we'll see a Rift Herald up and available. This could very likely be the objective they need to start actually chipping away at some of these other towers. And we'll see the setup right now, at least for the side of Resolve. In towards this top lane, they will have a 3-stack, but it's really hard to set up any proactive plays when you're this far behind. You're more or less just waiting for mistakes to happen so you can look to capitalize on them.
It's going to be really difficult to find here. GGA are playing about as safe as one can, especially with the Tom Kench available. Unfortunately, even though Resolve would love this Rift Herald, they have no chance of even attempting to pick it up. But the Bush play, these are the ones that have to potentially turn things around here, as APA is just in the right spot. But wow, they don't pull the trigger.
Oh, this they do not. A massive tempo in towards the mid lane as Prismal walks in. Rosethorn is here. It's going to pick up here some of the passive stacks. Have to see what Prismal is at actually at the moment for as far as his overall stacks. I mean, I absolutely want to know as well. There we see 83, 17 minutes in as they are just taking this tier 2 in the mid lane, and there is nothing you can do. Resolve will have to concede it, even moving in for a bit of damage. Rosethorn looking to start off the fight. Winter already having used the stasis, but no one can support him as he comes out. An easy pickup for Niles. Prismal will be taken low, but will be eaten up. PCL needs to make it towards the backline right now. He might be able to find the kill, and he gets the shutdown. But trades go the way of the side of GGA as the triple kill comes through for Niles. Array will be taken down. Fnatic looks to fall. And there is the Quadra for Niles. It doesn't come up, but we know at heart it was there. And that is another fight that goes their way.
Oh, and again, it just starts off so unfortunately. You use all the CC, but it takes all of Winter's HP to actually get it down. And a really nice cannon barrage means Fnatic, Array, and PCL have to wait as APA is trying to pelt whatever damage in he can. And you just see it. PCL does pick up one shutdown, but watch his HP. It's just so strong here. A lot of that damage is from Niles, and he just gets absolutely erased. He picks up his triple on APA. He's looking for Fnatic, as Yunbi will just solo Array, and there's just no way for you to win that fight if you're Resolve.
You just need so much more time for this composition to come online, and that is not something that you have in your favor, as it is 22-6 in kills. That gold lead now is, in fact, over 10,000. Like, you're being carried out on the stretchers right now. That is kind of the differential right now for as far as what you're looking at. Like, when you say 10,000 gold, it's like, all right, 10K, but in reality, it is not good whatsoever. There are more than bruises. You got broken legs, broken arms, you name it. It is not looking great. Niles is just so far ahead as well. 2.5 items here on the GP, who is now level 13, so these barrels going to be that much more lethal as he's looking to set them up in towards the top lane. I mean, there is quite literally 4 people up here, and Niles is just running in, not worried whatsoever.
Oh, well,
Might be worried now.
They have a lot of people as well. The hook comes through.
All right, he's definitely worried now. The Dawning Shadow there will keep him alive
Big
for a little bit
shutdown.
longer, but the shutdown is secured for PCL. Yoinb able to create one right back over on towards APA, but PCL can't get on top of him. Rosethorn
Oh,
will keep
no,
him
he's
away.
done.
There will be a kill for Rosethorn as they press. This Lilia has no HP.
Array's
Fnatic
full.
is on the run, and here comes the Udyr looking to run them
Oh,
down.
no.
Abyssal Voyage will bring them right in. Here is the Senna. Here is Prismal for the triple.
Oh, and it's just, this is at the point where if we were watching UFC, you just screaming, he's hurt. But all of Resolve is hurt at the moment here. 13,000 gold down. You get aced for the 3rd time in a row, as they are just looking to push out these waves. And this is where you can start to think about taking inhibitors here. APA is going to TP, potentially to his death.
Whoa,
Oh my
Niles
God, yeah.
lands the barrel. He even flashes after for the BM on towards APA. I mean, it is just looking so
Yeah.
good for Golden Guardians Academy. 20 minutes into the game, they have now found themselves an inhibitor, and they are
Oh.
now using the Rift Herald. We might get a Shelly dance. 4 versus 5. Everything you got Resolve, you got to pull it out now in Fnatic. Already
Oh my
deleted
God.
from the fight. Make that maybe another
Array.
one. Array is just trying to get himself out. Shelly is striking the towers. PCL cannot get in, and well, we might just get a Shelly dance.
Oh.
We will get a Shelly dance as Golden Guardians Academy. They will find themselves the 2-0 in